WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert allegedly told players that Caitlin Clark should be on her knees, grateful for the platform the league gave her. That Clark wouldn't have her $16 million in endorsements without the WNBA. That players should be thanking their lucky stars for what Engelbert did for them. When this story broke, the entire league exploded. Players across the WNBA backed the claims. Sophie Cunningham fired shots at the commissioner. And yesterday, Caitlin Clark finally spoke out for the first time. And what she revealed is absolutely devastating for Engelbert's career. Because guess what? The commissioner hasn't even called Caitlin to explain herself. Radio silence. And now Caitlin is backing the player who exposed this whole mess. This is about to get ugly. Let's dive in. Alright, so let me take you back to where this all started. October 1st, 2020, the Minnesota Lynx just got eliminated from the playoffs by the Phoenix Mercury. Star player Napheesa Collier sits down for her exit interview. And instead of just talking basketball, she absolutely nukes the WNBA leadership. Collier opened with a 4-minute prepared speech, calling out Commissioner Cathy Engelbert by name multiple times. This wasn't off the cuff, this was planned. She knew exactly what she was about to say. Here's what Collier revealed. Back in February 2025, she had a private conversation with Engelbert about rookie salaries. Collier asked how the league planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers are driving massive revenue for the league but making pennies during their first 4 years. Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary, $78,000. Meanwhile, she's selling out arenas, breaking viewership records, and single-handedly saving franchises. The league made billions off her rookie season, and she got 78 grand. So Collier asked a reasonable question. How are you going to fix this? And according to Collier, Engelbert's response was absolutely shocking. Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Wait, it gets worse. Collier says Engelbert also told her that players should be on their knees, thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. On their knees. Let that sink in. The commissioner of the WNBA allegedly told players they should be on their knees grateful for what she did for them. The audacity of that statement is insane. Because here's the reality. Caitlin Clark didn't need the WNBA to become a superstar. She was already the biggest name in women's basketball coming out of Iowa. She was already breaking records, selling out arenas in college, and had brands lining up to work with her. If anything, the WNBA needed her, and Engelbert knows it. When Collier's comments dropped, social media went nuclear. And it wasn't just fans reacting. WNBA players across the entire league started speaking out in support of Collier. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin's teammate on the Indiana Fever, fired back hard in an Instagram comment, writing that people only know Cathy because of Caitlin. Boom. Direct shot at the commissioner. And Sophie's not wrong. Before Caitlin Clark came to the WNBA, how many casual sports fans could name the commissioner? How many people outside of hardcore women's basketball knew who Cathy Engelbert was? Nobody. But now, because of this scandal, everyone knows her name, and not for good reasons. Other players started liking and sharing Collier's comments. The WNBA Players Association backed her. Former players came out of retirement to support her statement. This wasn't just one disgruntled player. This was a movement. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve had already called for a change in leadership at the league level, just days earlier, saying it was malpractice how officials were handling games. The frustration with Engelbert had been building for months, and now it all came pouring out. Within hours, Engelbert released a statement saying she has utmost respect for Collier, but was disheartened by how their conversations had been characterized. Notice what she didn't say. She didn't deny the comments. She just said she was disheartened by the characterization. That's politician speak for I said it, but I didn't mean it like that. But the damage was done. The cat was out of the bag. And everyone was waiting to hear from one person, Caitlin Clark herself. Fast forward to October 3rd, 2 days after Collier's bombshell interview. Caitlin Clark holds her first public media availability since the WNBA All-Star Game in July. And reporters immediately asked her about the Engelbert situation. Here's what Caitlin said, and I quote, "Cathy Engelbert hasn't reached out to me in the aftermath of Napheesa Collier's statement. She never called." Think about that for a second. Your commissioner allegedly says you should be on your knees grateful for the platform. The story goes viral. The entire sports world is talking about it. Players are backing Collier, sponsors are watching, fans are furious, and Engelbert doesn't even pick up the phone to call the player at the center of this controversy. That's not just bad leadership. That's negligence. Caitlin made it crystal clear where she stands, saying, "I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time, across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history." She didn't hold back. She basically said the league's leadership is failing at the most critical moment in WNBA history. And she's absolutely right. The WNBA just secured a $2 billion media rights deal. Attendance is up. Viewership is skyrocketing. Franchises are selling for over $200 million. This is the golden moment. And the commissioner is out here allegedly telling the league's biggest star she should be grateful, and then refusing to even call her to explain. When asked about Collier's statement, Caitlin said she made valid points and that her criticism of league officials, particularly Engelbert, was justified. Valid points. That's Caitlin diplomatically saying, yeah, she's right. The commissioner screwed up. Caitlin also revealed that she hadn't even heard Collier's story before it went public. She didn't know Engelbert had allegedly said those things about her. She found out the same time we did. Imagine being Caitlin Clark in that moment. You're grinding all season, dealing with physical play, injuries, hate from opposing fans, and constant media pressure. And then you find out your own commissioner has been privately saying you should be grateful for their platform? No wonder she backed Collier's criticism. On October 3rd, right before Game 1 of the WNBA Finals, Cathy Engelbert held a press conference to address the controversy. And her response was, well, let's just say it didn't help her case. Engelbert flat out denied making the comments, saying, obviously, I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Okay, so she's calling Napheesa Collier a liar? That's a bold strategy. Engelbert said there were a lot of inaccuracies in what Collier attributed to her, and blamed social media and all of this reporting for the controversy. She's deflecting. Instead of taking accountability, she's blaming social media and reporters for accurately covering what Collier said. When pressed on the specific "on their knees" comment, Engelbert got defensive and talked about inaccuracy and clickbait, but never directly addressed what Collier claimed she said. She also played the victim card, saying, I'm a human too, I have a family, I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. It's obviously been a tough week. Look, nobody's saying Engelbert doesn't have feelings, but when you're the commissioner of a professional sports league, and one of your star players goes public with serious allegations about what you said, you can't just cry about having a tough week. Engelbert said she had been in touch with Collier and planned to meet with her the following week. But here's the crazy part. Just one day later, sources revealed that Napheesa Collier canceled that meeting. She said Engelbert's press conference pushed the relationship beyond repair. Beyond repair. Collier basically said there's no coming back from this. The damage is done, and she wants nothing to do with Engelbert anymore. Okay, so she's calling Napheesa Collier a liar? That's a bold strategy. Engelbert said there were a lot of inaccuracies in what Collier attributed to her, and blamed social media and all of this reporting for the controversy. She's deflecting. Instead of taking accountability, she's blaming social media and reporters for accurately covering what Collier said. When pressed on the specific "on their knees" comment, Engelbert got defensive and talked about inaccuracy and clickbait, but never directly addressed what Collier claimed she said. She also played the victim card, saying, I'm a human too, I have a family, I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. It's obviously been a tough week. Look, nobody's saying Engelbert doesn't have feelings, but when you're the commissioner of a professional sports league, and one of your star players goes public with serious allegations about what you said, you can't just cry about having a tough week. Engelbert said she had been in touch with Collier and planned to meet with her the following week. But here's the crazy part. Just one day later, sources revealed that Napheesa Collier canceled that meeting. She said Engelbert's press conference pushed the relationship beyond repair. Beyond repair. Collier basically said there's no coming back from this. The damage is done, and she wants nothing to do with Engelbert anymore.